Hey, oh, and Flat Earth Food's just joined us.
I did.
Hello, Flat Earth Food. Good
think I
evening,
did.
everybody.
I hope I
Welcome,
joined you.
welcome in the chat room. Today is Friday, the 11th of January, 2019. Flat Earth Dude has just joined us. Our Patricia's here,
Did.
and our guests today are Richard Lopez and Martin Leakey. Yay! So, good evening, guys.
Oi, oi, oi.
Hey,
Good evening, good afternoon, good day.
good day.
In case I don't see ya.
Absolutely.
Anyway, it's very nice of you to be here. We've already been talking Mudblood and we hadn't even started.
Yeah, I've got so much to talk about. Things move quick, really quick.
I
Absolutely.
hadn't realised that you two were such good friends.
Soy petal?
I didn't realise when I asked you to come on, I didn't realise that you were such good friends. So that's good.
Yeah. Before we had met. Oh no.
Yes, we haven't met in real life, but one of these days, absolutely, that's my mate. What Martin is doing is unbelievable. The work he's doing.
But I see you as like you've got the passion, Richard, man, and you just explain it absolutely so well. I seen it in an instant. I thought, oh, this guy is just so passionate, man, and he just knows in his soul. So, like, yeah, it's totally brilliant, Richard, what you're doing.
You know, and thank you, Martin. But I was just talking to Karen before you got on, and we were talking about it. I was like, and I tell people this story all the time. When you're talking about this stuff a year ago,
Too.
and I was like, oh no. I mean, like, I was like, oh man, this is a cool guy.
I started to drip in about 3 years ago because I was like Flat Earth. I've been like doing it coming up to 4 years, and basically after about a year, I just started slipping in history, and then basically I thought, well, I like this a lot, and then just went like full history about a year ago. But I was dripping it in for a good year before then with Tataria and Mudflood. So
Right, and I gotta be honest with you, Karen. I've never seen anybody that got me so excited of looking at photos of antiquity, other than Martin. When the way Martin presents photos, I mean, you're like gassed up. You're like, oh my gosh.
weird, because I was doing it for a couple of years before I was doing Flat Earth. I was just presenting like photographic collections on my old crap Facebook, and people were like, and I would just comment like either a funny comment or something on a historical narrative, like which I thought was fake at the time. And they was like going down really well. Like everyone was looking at him. I thought, no, they really like this. So I thought, well, this could be expanded. And I started with a series called "What is the Real Story of Photography?" And that's where it started. And they went really well, them videos, where I suspected photography was older. I suspected that some of the photographs we're looking at are not actually the period we think we're looking at, but maybe held over from another set. I think they repeat fashions out of a handbook. So people have to understand these are not organic developments in our style. We didn't all just, wake up one day and decide to put these garments on. This is socially engineered. Mary Quant was a member of the Tavistock Institute. She introduced the miniskirt exactly the same time, a skirt, short as it goes, exactly the same time as the pill and free sex arrived on the scene. Yeah. What happens as a result? Population boom. It's all socially engineered, and that includes the fashions. So what you're looking at, you could be looking at further back. It's all out of a handbook.
Yeah, it's like how many times did they reset this place? But like, I have to give credit. While we're talking about it, to Wise Up.
Oh God, yes.
So people, one of my
favorites. For him, I wouldn't be here now. Him and Silver, really.
Yo, and the respect that I have for Wise Up, and I watched. Every last video this man did, and when he said, "Hey, you guys need to look at Flat Earth British and Martin. He's really doing some really good work."
Yeah, you give me a shout, yeah.
That's when I was like, okay, I know Martin. I went over him. He was talking about money. It's starting to make sense now. And I had to catch up. I had to play catch up. I had to go back to all your stuff. And I'm sitting there like this in this rabbit hole. Like, holy snap. And I never had, the last time I had this feeling was waking up to the Flat Earth. Like, we live on, and it's always been like
I think it's deeper, the history, because it's more encompassing, you see. It's not just, this is what the thing is, it's not just Mudflood, Richard, is it? It's Technasmia, it's Antiquitech, it's the maps, and it all folds in beautifully and infuses the Flat Earth, I feel. It really does.
That's what people tell me. Well, how is this connected? It connects to everything.
God, doesn't it?
Right, it connects. It shows you how all of our history is complete fraud.
Yeah, the electromagnetic universe, and it's under the dome, the free energy, the whole thing fits in beautifully with the whole story.
Right, Johnny.
Yeah, exactly. I can only
Starforce?
work on one thing, a flat plane. And we know what it is anyway. I've presented it on The Greatest Story Never Told. I think this place is definitely electromagnetic. This is why it's get raised with electromagnetic or plasma discharge events, which trigger everything off, including the mud flows or the liquefaction in a lot of cases. But you know, this thing I found tonight. Wow.
Man-made thing, guys. Is that mud thing? Is it man-made or natural? Just one of those things that's happened to us.
I'm starting to feel it might be a natural cycle and out of their control, you know, Karen, because of it's this thing called the Melancholia, this series of artworks and of School of Thought, if you like, where the controllers are outside and they're within empathy. They know this cycle, but I feel these comets. You see, I feel the comets are. I know it sounds crazy, but we know nothing is orbiting shit. We know, right? The comets. And not what they're saying. Now, when people say, "Oh, it's Halley's Comet," well, why? Has it got a big banner on the side saying, "I'm Halley's Comet"? Do you know where you heard that? You heard it from NASA. They say they've done it from a spectral analysis, right? So they can compare it with the one from 75 years ago that they haven't got. Are you nuts? This is just a comet, right? It could be any comet, and they all come from sort of a certain direction. They can break off into two, as the one in 1811 through to 1812 was. One comet broke into two, and they went in two different directions. And they won't tell you about that because it kills heliocentrism stone dead, but it's very well documented. Yes. These things I feel could be artificial, and I think that they do cause plasma discharge when they come close and trigger a lot of this event. Yeah, and I do feel that it is controller contributed to. Yeah, evil.
Oh, absolutely. And what I think, Karen, is basically sort of like what he thinks. I think that because we know this place is a building, a construct of some sort, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to evolve. Okay, well, what it is? It's okay. We know it's a flat plane realm because water, no matter what they say or what magic they put, is always finds its level.
Exactly.
Large bodies of water do not curve around the exterior of a ball, period. So that conversation is dead. So this place is like sort of like a lake. You know, a big ass lake. You go to a lake and you see it. Water is contained, right? And I think that they, just like he said, the controllers know either they're doing it, either there's some type of valves. They found some valves, or they know about it and they're not telling us, and they're going underground. When it's done, right? They come back up and say anything they want to say. Okay, and
sell the crossbones to a deal with them. I think there's an exchange going on as well. I think maybe they give them gold, maybe they give them tech back, peoples. You know, like everyone arriving in the 1800s. These people have, all of these, the orphan trains, 13,000 in 1 week. That's a lot of bloody parents. That's into the hundreds of thousands we're talking. So where are all them we know? They died in the events of the beginning of the 19th century. So where are the children arriving from? Are they being delivered from elsewhere? There are literally in 1900, if you look into it, no fewer than 500,000 children were missing in London alone. Prominently blonde. Now, where the flipping hell have all these children gone to? They spin tales of crazy Arabs taking them, stuff like that. But no. So it could be an exchange with peoples. It could be a gene thing. I think it might be a gene thing going on. I think that's part of it as well, because there seems to be a lot of messed up people in the past.
Well, so we know that
elongated-headed people. That
exactly them as well.
In the UK as well as other countries.
Exactly. And there's all different type of sizes of people too, as well. Like in time, like all different types. I mean, we have to understand. Like I tell people, they're like, "Oh, giants. What do you mean?" Yeah, well, yeah. You have to understand that to understand what's going on. That there's all type of sizes of people. Okay, and a lot of the stories that we were given about these giants is wrong. So, like I tell people, I'm 6'3". Okay, so anybody that's 9 foot, 10 foot, 11 foot to me is considered a giant to me. Okay, so imagine a midget. To me, well, I'm just a bigger person. I'm just a bigger humanoid. So a lot of misinformation out there, and we just, it's really serious.
With Martin's journey, I am pleased to say that we came on a hangout and he was talking about this Russian book that he'd found, and that's kind of where it all really changed for you, isn't it, Martin? And I'm very proud of you as well. Richard Lopez.
It was
but I'm
organic,
so
our
proud-
discovery.
I'm so
Yeah,
proud of Martin.
brilliant.
I'm so proud of you, Martin. The
Thanks.
chat room are so proud of you. You've done so well. Well done.
Thanks. I say it 1,000 times. It's not just me, Karen. It's everyone else. It's because of the think tank. You know, it's a rare thing when you get trusted people coming in together. It's not about ego. I'm not looking to make myself a big fucking name here or anything like that. I just want, you know, which is a rare thing. I actually want to find out something before I pop off and give you all a gift before I go, which is any talent that I got when I share my gift at the Gab. And my ability to remember endless amounts of data, which I'll do. So, and I will give that to the people as a gift. That's what we're doing.
So too, and that's why I stand behind you, Martin, because I'm digesting the information that you're presenting, and I want to be able to present a picture so people can digest and people can understand. Because what you're saying, I mean, resonate with me. If that, does that resonates with me? Like, and that's why I want people, and I want people to stand behind you, man. I stand behind you. A lot of people. John Levi stands behind you. A lot of these people, Philip Drizzenin, I just was talking to him. I just got off his right, and and we're going to do a connecting a dot show with us three soon next week. We'll talk about the details later. But you're doing great work, Philip, and I thank you, Karen. Thank you for acknowledging that and standing behind that, because that's big. He's a flat earther. We're all flat earthers. When I tell a lot of people, I had some globe heads attacking me, and even flat earthers acting like globe heads, saying, "Oh no!" I said, "Look, flat earthers are the ones at the helm of these investigations."
Don't they see the more people we're bringing in, and it's all infused in the flat earth, all the more. And the more people, and I got so many people in my comments are all globe believers. You know, a couple of them said, "I just watched Great Story Never Told," and I'm actually thinking this place is what you're saying now. You know, I've turned a lot of people with this. You know, so it's not where I've woken up maybe tenfold what I was doing 6 months ago.
Nice.
To this. Okay, so no, it is.
You have definitely ramped up, Martin.
Yeah, it's just the word mud flood. It's sort of, it's sort of people are just saying, "Oh well, how can it be a mud flood?" and then cancel it at that without researching that we're not actually we're going to save humanity with this subject, because we're talking unlocking free energy. I've already explained on A Great Story Never Told. And this ain't a quite great leap jump for us all to have, guys. Okay, they don't want us to have that.
They don't want this. And you know what, Martin? Speaking of free energy, Karen, I would like to show like a 2-minute video that I put in Tartarian Brick. I put out a video at midnight last night. When you get a chance, after you get done watching this, watch Tartarian Brick. It's some good stuff that me and Philip put out on Connecting the Dots. But could I show this right now, Karen? Are you cool with that?
Sure. You know how to share, don't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I teed up this. I kind of just let me know if you can see what I see. Can you see what I see?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna play this real quick.
And if you focus on a dot,
and I want you to hear this.
Peripheral vision. You only see one dot within it.
Now, I'm going to stop here for a second. I want people to understand what you're looking at, okay? Because you heard about free energy. You heard of the idea. You heard Martin talk about this. We see these things, these spires on these buildings. We understand that the Tartarians and our ancient people from the past were using this on a level that's incomprehensible. And this is what you're seeing, them using the Oregon energy that's up there. Absolutely. So I'm going to stop it right there. But just to give you an understanding what's going on, thanks, shout out to Flat Earth British Sub and Martin for making that happen for us. I think that was a beautiful thing. And I appreciate that. And I wanted to enhance the audio on that and kind of put something, but that's what they're hiding, folks. It's
like voices in it almost. Crazy.
Yeah. So it's sort of like it's actually just a voice that I picked up from whatever that audio was, and it makes sense. Like something going on.
It sounds like that audible thing you heard all over the plane on all these YouTube videos. It's the same sort of thing. So incredible. Yeah. We feel like it'd be great we had a secondary one, but luckily UAP, whilst looking into it, I gave him a link to show him which place it was. It was the palace in Phnom Penh, which is the capital for Cambodia. So it's, makes it more, infuses it, because this is the people who were the Khmer Rouge, the people who built Angkor Wat, guys, which is a microcosm of the flat Earth and a nested building and technology at the highest level. So these people who built this palace, and not only that, it's famous for this thing called the Dance of the Palace Princesses, and they have these women with these over elaborate Technasmia hats on. Yeah, but UAP posted he found a brochure, and when he magged in on the tip of this palace, it was illuminated with Technasmia. So we got a secondary. This thing is definitely operational. Yeah, man.
Oh wow!
Yeah. We got backup on this, so
nice. Yeah, and I looked at that. I actually did some research about that, and it's a store foul. I literally saw them. They were communicating. I'm like, this is a communication center from the ancient past. It looks like This is where, because they were literally communicating with these things to one another. Mind blowing. Wi-Fi. Mind blowing.
Wi-Fi and the rest. God.
That's why they have those things on the side of the road without wires on, isn't it? Like those poles with the things on them, and they're all down the street, and there's no wires.
Absolutely. It's mind-boggling when you like Wi-Fi. Like what?
Yeah, so all them advertising posts, they're like cylindrical. They're all over Europe, and they're sort of just there. But they're hollow. There's nothing inside them. But there was at some stage them bollards, and you get these little caps, hubcaps, like iron things in the road. Yeah, and they can also transfer. You have every 150 meters is enough to transfer this type of energy. That's all you need them, and that's convenient. What they space some of these bollards out at.
It's crazy, and I'm wondering. This is why they put lead in the paints, and they were using, and they gave us some nonsense and that lead poison, is harmful. It probably is, but even they was doing something to counteract that, where they were painting in the walls because they were mining. They knew the effects of lead. So I'm thinking this is a cover story for the vaccines. Whatever. It makes you this, and it gives you, make you autistic. But I think it's a technology that we just don't understand. So I'm actually looking into that right now.
So many angles. I don't know which one to go down next. I'm just spinning with it all, Richard. It's just every single day is a monumental discovery. It just blows you out the door. It's crazy stuff. How this is unfolding weekly is just beyond.
Daily. I mean, those photos you put out in Kansas of that mud.
Yeah, more than that.
People ask me, hey, do you have any proof? Those are photos right there. You give to say.
See, I think that's closest to direct evidence that I've sort of found. Even I had somebody contact me, right? I've got like, the thing is, for credibility for this subject, I've got at least 2 architects with doctorates who do engineering and architecture, right? Who were totally on board with Mudflood, right? And one of them was questioning that one. He said, first point he made is, did you notice there was no rocks in the mud? No, I never. Thank you for that. So it hasn't been shifted, has it? It's coming in on the flow. And it's yeah, he's right. It's coupled up to a house, right? And it's supposed to be 30, that height, again, 30 foot. So the house was there first, because you can't build a house up against a mud flow because it would all fall in without a cough dam, you see. So, so that came in after, and it's the whole city. And it's tied in perfectly from what I've discovered today, actually. I got a bit of more information on New Madrid. I've got two antique booklets. One of them is from 1919, and this guy Fulton done a brilliant scientific analysis on the event, and he stated that this thing was so powerful that the windows were smashed in Boston. You know how far Boston is from Missouri, guys? Yeah, this thing covered Arkansas, Kansas, Mississippi, all these states, right? And it states, and in this antique book, that it was liquefaction that covered 3 states. Right, and it went into Oklahoma. They're talking. So I'm saying that this mud flow in Kansas City is 100% on the Missouri, 100%. Anything between the Mississippi and the Missouri during them events was like deeper than most places, I would say. You seen the depth on it, Richard? Some of it's 100 foot. Yeah. So there was a tsunami or something. I don't know what happened in this place, but the New Madrid event is Kansas City, and we caught 30 years after. They hadn't cleaned it up. We just caught it. They should have got rid of that.
Wow, no rocks. So it's even some type of
rocks, brother. Think about it. It's the only way. It's the only way.
Mud volcano. That's the mud volcano there, right there. They open up the vents. They know it happens. I mean, but what's puzzling is that most of Tartaria, where they reign, their empire is under mud, man.
I know.
It's
I feel it is possibly deliberate, maybe. Look, did you ever see that video John Levy done when he looked at this giant depression in the Gobi Desert? There used to be a giant lake, and now it's just an empty sort of sand, dried out lake. But like, I've got old maps, and there's giant civilization there with lush green trees and everything else in this like 14th century beautiful colored map thing. So it's like I'm sort of thinking like, there was some sort of like, fascist type technologies used in this, on a biblical scale, and everything went maybe before a precursor, before they know that these events, the comets come, they know everything's gone to chaos.
Is that why they built CERN? Is that why they're building something like this?
Let me tell you what I think's going on, Richard. Do you know what I say by the charge goes active is this? Do you know the eagle with the wings open? Now, the difference between a magnet and an electromagnet, right, is all of the arrows in a normal magnet, right, are all skew if. Then they don't magnetize, okay? Your magnets, okay? If they're all skew if and the arrows or the atoms are all going in different directions, it won't be active. But when that's what they mean by act of chaos out of order, or order out of chaos. The magnet is in a chaotic state, okay? When they bring order, okay, they put electric into the magnet and they make it active. This is the power that the controllers have. What happens when this goes active, right, is we're in an electromagnetic universe. Can you imagine when an electromagnet sticks to a car, it lifts the car up, yes? So all of this plane will be like the whole thing has been lifted, like the whole thing will go to shit. And tsunamis and liquefaction and all the rest. So it's the charge active. Now that can be counteracted. That can be neutralized. All you do is find the frequency that they use, put it back at it, and it will completely cancel out. The wave cancellation can be cancelled out. That's how it can be averted. So this can actually be averted using that knowledge alone, right? A frequency cancellation. So that is what I think they mean, and I think that's how they do it. I think
and that's what they
activate the charge.
You showed some very revealing pictures, and kind of like where my mind was taking me, actually from your evidence, and the evidence that I've been looking at is, I think the Star Force were fighting this mud off the best way they could, man. Like these things, like I man. And I believe that they removed this kind of whatever that was in there to make these things kind of vibrate or give off some type of vibration to fight this mud.
Yeah.
I think they did it. I think a lot of times they
You can see it sort of in ripples outside them anyway. It's sort of undulating and in a wave sort of function. Yeah.
Do you think they caused it? Do you think they caused it with the frequencies they were using and stuff?
Very possibly. Like in the Matrix when they say, they tried to avert it and they scorched the sky. It might have been that case of trying to like selfishly prolong it all. They caused more damage inadvertently, which is why all Technasmia devices have been bricked over in antiquity and are no longer active. You get it?
Wow. Unbelievable.
Possibility, yeah.
You know what's crazy too is, I mean, think about it. I mean, I'm a domer, so not only that, I believe that I think this place is a flat, plain realm, but I think that we're in some type of container, and that we're not on top of a ball. We're probably inside of one. So if that's the case, right? If that's the case, well, if you have like, say for instance, use one of those vibrators with a ball at the end of it.
Yeah.
If the end of this place is in Antarctica, wouldn't you have to introduce a vibration to that, whatever structure, and vibrate this place and cause chaos? I mean, I don't know. My mind had me out there like that, but it makes you think.
Can I just say that Trouble About's joined us? Trouble About lives in Australia, so we've got quite a spectrum.
I like this guy.
America.
Okay. What's going on, mate? Sorry about that.
Yeah, man. Trouble About.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Oh, yeah.
How's things?
Never spoke to you in real life.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you guys. I love your work.
Awesome.
Love Australia.
Yes.
Nice over there with Max Egan. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, true. I got lots of friends in Australia.
I don't want to interrupt. Keep going. I love what you guys are talking about. It's
No,
fascinating.
contribute. Say your thoughts. You say some stunning stuff in comments. I gotta be honest. So I know you've got a good perspective on all what's going on. So I'm sure you can contribute. Knock yourself out.
I've been looking into the mud flood, and I've been photographing all stuff around where I live in Brisbane.
Cool,
And, I really like whoever it is, Andres or somebody like that. He's coming out with
Oh, that's it. Yeah, he's brilliant, isn't he? You was in the
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I like him.
I was chatting with him the other day.
Yeah, so I've started screenshotting some of his work and photographing the churches around town, and I'm going to make my own video of the churches in Australia and put up those cymatic patterns that he's got, because they match the stars, because I photograph a lot of stars, and they are just like looking at stars.
Loads of people have said about the correlation. Do you think there's one? Loads of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, do it. Make a video. Just give us a shout. Send us an email. Shout us an email. I'll help you out. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And I made one on the Paris catacombs. That's what started me.
Wow.
Yes. Oh, yes. I saw that.
Oh, that's so creepy.
I actually started subscribing to you because of that video, because I didn't know who you were, and I saw that. I forgot who was presenting that. I don't know. It was Martin or somebody presented that. And I was
I asked a couple on that. I was looking at the
alien bones. I mean, like, what's going on? Like, it was just mind blowing. Well, like, who was in power that was so evil that said, I want their skulls and femurs placed underground?
No, man. Philip says he can see scratch marks on some of them. I like the marrow's been scraped out and stuff. He surmises a lot of them have been cannibalized.
Those catacombs, those what's left? There's no like hands. There's just like leg bones and arm bones, and there's no bodies.
Well, I heard they grind them up. I mean, there is reports that they grind. So
they got piezoelectric forces bones. You see that video that guy put out in Iran? I traced it, and not only that, what I found today. Do you know tartar sauce? Tartar sauce has rock salt in it. Rock salt has got piezoelectric forces. So just so happens the tartar sauce can conduct electricity. Actually, do you know?
Wow.
Oh.
No.
So the source from the Taurus, absolutely. It's written right there the whole time in our face. We couldn't connect the dots. Now we can.
Some towns might have been quite scary. Like, we look at all this technology and go, wow. But when they got piles of bones of, millions of people in them, something's not quite adding up.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? It's like, what is that?
Used to be averted.
Yeah, I can't.
Microwave our ass with that. And if anyone thinks that technology isn't existing, they're kidding themselves. It 100% exists. Ask the women of Green and Common in the 1980s. Do you know about that, Richard?
Oh, yeah. I mean, no, I don't know about that event, but I know about that.
They were microwaved. They all got cancers and died en masse.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, ladies, they were camped outside an American base in the south of England, which apparently had the cruise missile psyop in it. But they were like camped outside protesting, and they had this giant orb thing in this camp. They were just microwaving them daily. These were mothers with kids, and the kids just dropped en masse. Anyone who spoke about it and exposed it was like newspapers and all of that just closed down about it. They spun a yarn, and these were all like, yeah, they're all like lesbians. They got an attitude, and the hate against these women. And they were like legends. It was just sick stuff. But they were murdered. Yeah, microwave.
I mean, think about it. It's sort of like one of those lights that you have that you put for the mosquitoes and the bugs outside your house.
Yeah, exactly.
They zap you. Why do you think the 5G? They literally put a 5G.
Listen, they put it in London back in the summer in an area called Kentish Town. They just tested it, and there was a separate report the same day, not connected, mind, of a guy having some spontaneous combustion. So something activated his pyrons in his body, and he just nuked.
Wow.
Yeah, it happens. I got a book in there. You want to see the cases in the 1800s of spontaneous combustion? This thing, prequel.
Yeah, it was huge back then.
Huge back then. You know it.
Yeah.
I got
it's like you grew up as a kid thinking that these watching He-Man or all these shows, but the Deceptors always just being some type of kind of like a myth.
Yeah.
But, with these crystals, they make sense.
It does so make sense, brother. It does so make sense. Think about it. I got books on like altered atmospheric conditions, right? And during comet times and reset periods, right? There's an atmospheric disturbance, what they call. Now, electromagnetic disturbance, as you know, can cause certain mental effects, as in mental insanity, or whatever they specify with the frequency, right? So they can drive everyone to insanity with frequencies, basically. I think this is why there's so many insane asylums in the late 1800s and so much insanity. I think this is the atmospheric conditions at the time with the miasma I looked into as well. I think it's connected. I think it transmits it more. Getting rid of the railings, which blocks it. It all ties in, to the getting rid of this technology, Tartaria cover over, history rewrite, all in 200 years, and it's easier to do than you think. It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
In one generation, you could do it.
You could. Who are you going to ask? They're all dead.
Yes, you're right. And they're all dead or got amnesia or dementia. And it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, listen to this, Richard. One of my subs said to me back about a year ago that her great-grandmother said, right, to her mother, when electricity arrived in the 1920s and started connecting at Britain, she said, "Oh, that old electricity scam again, is it?" So she was in her lifetime. They'd done it before.
Because they knew what they were doing. They knew it was coming.
Richard has it right, because he had at the beginning all the dots. They don't want us to connect the dots.
No, they do not. They don't want critical thinking people. They just don't want it. They don't want people working together. They don't want us friendly. They want us all divided. They want us all arguing. They will put a poo into the mix to get us all arguing about rubbish.
Yes.
Selfish reasons or what have you.
Right. Absolutely.
It's not happening, is it? We're just not playing it. It's just so sweet, isn't it?
This is the advanced edition. So when I told people, I was like, yes. And if you look at it, a lot of flat earthers are starting to wake up to this, and it's sort of like the flat Earth to them all over again. They look at it, and be like, nah. But when they see it, and they see the preponderance of
especially a couple of people have said in the last week or so, like, oh, it's just boo-hoo it. And I'm like, hang on a minute. That's what glowbeds do with the flat Earth. They just boo-hoo it with no research whatsoever. Yeah. So how about digging in, spend maybe a week looking into not just Mudflood and Ticotec and see the proof for Technasmia and its operation and the prospects for humanity, and then it'll twig that, oh my God, what we can do for everybody with this will drop.
Right. You see, Karen and Martin, everybody on the panel, is this the reason why I think that flat earthers are at the helm of this topic and investigation. Yeah. We understand the level of deception.
This is what it is, I think, Ripper, because we know it's like, Hollow World's a stage, and, they're all in it together.
And we know there's got to be some answers. We know that they were more advanced in the past, and so there has to be some answers that match up with that.
Of course.
Yes.
You see it everywhere, all this stuff that
Lee.
they call it Antiquitech that's out of place.
Yeah. Yeah, Lee said in my comments, you love this, you will, open-minded. Lee said in my comments that this reset has to be the stupidest reset in all of them. I think he's about right, you know, because no one is worked out, like, basically, that, you know, they're all believing cartoons, for one.
Yeah.
You got this crazy, you got these people in Hollywood talking about time's up. You got all these corporations, all their CEOs got fired or they resigned in the last couple of years. If you look at it, there's a list of people. Like, what's going on is people are getting prepared, and we know they have these underground cities, man. And there's people
already.
Right. You know, what are they getting ready for? They be just up here looking stupid, and you know, watching Netflix and on a spinning ball in outer space while they just setting it all up. You know what I mean? And it's it's crazy. It's mind blowing.
Well, it could be chemtrailing, playing for time. You should have seen the state of my skies here yesterday. It was absolutely disgusting. The grid back, no sky left, and they blocked the sky completely.
Question: Do you have a lot of friends and people over there getting nasal infections and getting respiratory?
Oh, chem flu, yeah.
I'm not convinced that I lost the train of thought. That this is all natural, that nature's doing it, and they're just preparing for some disaster that nature's going to bring. I'm not sure I believe that one.
What's your feeling? Please share. What's your feelings?
I think it's created.
You think they've reset this place?
Yeah.
You think it's sin because it's sin and everybody just selling out, like, and the last one to turn it back on a creator, it gets reset type of scenario?
No.
I mean,
I think
I don't think he's that horrible.
I think it's human beings or
controllers off pond, and this is just a cattle ranch where we're all their bitches, and they can wipe us out at any second because they don't give a stuff for us, and we're just all fed up lies from the very start and brainwashed. It's easy to work out, and we've just, when a penny drops of the full money, it's just massive. It's massive. It's so big. To us.
Yeah, big people.
I don't necessarily think that the creator designed it that way, but that's what we've turned it into. That's what
this place is a lot bigger. This could be just part of the creation, you see.
Yeah.
You got to open. You have to have an open mind. You got to think outside the box, outside of that box. Because think about, right,
we don't be big enough. We never do.
World, right? We live in a supernatural world. Okay.
Yes.
It is what it is. We live in a super, and they've been hiding that from us. They've been hiding our true nature to reality. It's a supernatural world.
Yeah, man.
On purpose, and then they're behind it.
We create this round.
Right, exactly. So, and you start bringing in with these kind of technologies that the ancients had. Think about it. We grew up and thinking that they built temples and they lived in caves.
Yeah.
They built temples and they lived in caves, right? And they made this construct, this false history. This is where I have a problem. And you gotta look at the evidence that Wise Up New World shows in this architecture. It looks like these buildings were melted, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Vitrified.
Like, right, but literally like melted. Like,
yeah, it's just all these weapons. It's these energy weapons. They rub our faces in it with like Marvel comic. These sonic weapons that all of these superheroes got and their technology.
Right.
It is just what they have.
This is what's going on, and the evidence shows.
It's not myth. It's not myth. It's a reality.
Right.
Melting stuff without setting it on fire. It's
right. They're making
something I'm used to hearing about. Usually, when things melt, it's because fire melted them.
Yeah, sure. So you've got to have a certain temperature to melt stone, and that's exceptional. That's over 1200 C. So I think in vitrification through energy weapons, them forts in Scotland, in Western Scotland, something like they look like the top of Sacsayhuamana. Have you seen how that's vitrified and like blobbed? And they're these like same old blocks that we talk about on our channels. These, these polygonals that shouldn't be there. Did they get caught? Yeah, so they're all vitrified.
Don't be confused. When he's talking about vitrification, He's not talking about the official narrative that they want us to believe in this ancient areas. That, they were just melted rock.
I literally think the Manor type ships where they have that much technology and they're zapping out, to forts that is like space cities. It's just that advanced back then, and you can see the
Wi-Fi back in the days. What's going on, Philip?
machine cities working on mass technology, CERN devices instead of Colosseums. They found them. They thought, oh, they'll do. We'll have them as our entertainment for. But were they ours? Were they ours for gladiatorial purposes, or is that just a yarn like they wrote? Well, yeah, because I think that they find them every time. I think what they're looking at there is Searle devices. I think these are free energy devices, or for the benefit of humanity. And I think Rome definitely was a circuit board city, inundated with mud to neutralize its circuitry. Have you seen the circuit board of Rome by Piranesi? What it looked like? It matches your mud board on your computer. It's just all connected. And with water, it's just crazy. How it works. It's just mad to think that this exists or had existed. I feel it can be reactivated.
So just asking, did they actually live underground then, or has that all happened because of the mud floods?
Well, that's the thing. See, these caverns are massive, so obviously they have to be deep because you can't have inundations of tunnels through mud flows, and that won't make any difference if you're in a tunnel with certain earthquake strengths, like if it was like New Madrid, which is estimated to be anything up as far as 8.6 to 9. They never had seismographs, so I don't know if you know about exponential growth in earthquakes, but anything over an 8 is off the scale, so it could be anything. So that would affect deep. So I don't think tunnels are necessarily that safe. They have to be really deep, reinforced government tunnels to be safe.
I agree. I think they're torture chambers and laboratories.
Yeah,
and
more
keeping us underground. We're doing this in the past. Yeah.
Have you ever seen Piranesi's prisons? They're like giant under Paris. Them are as well. Funny enough, the same place as the catacombs, and they're. Have you seen them? They're giant chains, and it looks like that they were keeping giants were running it because the chains are too big for humans to have forged, and the people are kept in there. Right, so it's like a food source or something going on. It's really weird. Piranesi's prisons. Yeah, look into it. Just Google it. Piranesi's prisons. Blows your mind.
For all those people out there that are listening and that think mud floods and it's Tartarian and nonsense bullshit, whatever you want to call it, check yourself.
Do you know what I found as well? Right. I found reference to Tartaria in the United States.
All over where?
Found an old booklet from 1650s, another Kirsch I was going through, and it's got a depiction of a small town settlement, someone on horseback, and they're carrying the Tartarian flag through the town. So the flag is actually there, pinpointed, it's exactly identical, no doubt about it. So that's maybe a couple now that I've got that have pinpointed them there anyway, which they would have been. Look, if it was milder at some stage, they could have easily walked across the Bering Straits, right? The Fox Islands, the archipelago. You come across from their land, and America's just over by there. You're telling me that there could have been a land bridge, all we know.
To my
there you are.
I found some old video, and you know what's crazy? Once you're aware and see this, I found some old video of some Tartarian Coney Island. Some old ancient first video back in the early 1900s, and there's literally camels in Coney Island, and this space age futuristic building.
Crazy, isn't it?
I can't wait till I show that to people. It was mind blowing. And I was like, it's Tartarian. I mean, and these houses, these red bricks. And these certain type of construction, it's all over the world. So they had factories and they were building these buildings on a massive level. It's mind-blowing.
Same plan. Fixed.
Australia at the moment has the largest number of wild camels, which I find really amazing. What the heck were they bringing camels to Australia for?
What? Well, they're good, in the desert, obviously. Don't need to, drink them.
Yeah, well, that's where they're all running around wild. Yeah.
Kangaroos are unusual, aren't they? Chaz Wazzers.
Yeah. Why don't you guys have any of the mammals that we have? Why are they
don't
all
know.
just
right?
that to me is like there's still a lot more we don't know.
Yeah, that's a part of it. Why didn't they, like, you know, sort of migrate to other parts? They could have gone Southeast Asia and then through. It's just your island. It's really a continent, really unusual.
Yeah, and if we had this ability to travel way back then, how did they keep the animals and the people looking, you know, to that particular piece of land?
Maybe there's some truth in Noah, and maybe one, you know, 2 by 2 animals like as such, or maybe like it was genetically, like all of them in test tubes, and they were just reintroduced after they've been reset, including plants and animals.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Look at the Svalbard seed bank. You know, they got all the seeds for the world after the reset, and then they got all the seeds to go. So they got good ganja pips, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
It is strange though, isn't it? I sent you a picture, didn't I, Martin, the other day of Notre Dame Church.
Yeah, and I've been looking into that. It's crazy.
It's a model. But when you look at that, is that a church?
No, it's a machine.
Looks like a machine.
The monks never built that.
Which makes you wonder, what was religion back in the old days if
It wasn't.
they weren't churches? If churches weren't churches, they were machines.
Oh.
Then we weren't worshipping gods and things.
No, we don't look. We didn't need these rules and theologies laid down on us. We didn't have it back then because we were all like in this golden sort of sacred state. We were all in charm, where we didn't have these bad thoughts, the parasitical thoughts that everyone's having right now. You know, that like possession of sort of a sort.
Yes.
We didn't have that then, so it wouldn't have come into us. You know, we could have just like gone around in the river with our kids and not had to worry about, because no thoughts were like that out there. It was just beautiful times.
Yes.
Yeah. So I believe it was like that. I really do. I think parasitical mind came in, and I think that religion is 100% control, because it makes the worst problem on this plane through that nutty shit. Okay, you know, theological nonsense, all of it. Yeah. You do not need a house to worship God. I think about God nearly every single thing that I do in this reality, and I don't need a church to walk into and cough up money when I leave to some dodgy-looking guy in a dress. Before I
Right.
So it's a rip-off. You can see, you know, it doesn't take, you know, too much of a deep thought to think that this is a control system. They're on every single corner of every street in every country, in every city, right? Is that an accident? And these things, after they took them over, were technosmia devices. Bringing, you can see the perversion and the reversal, like the devil does. You know, it's sort of, you know, these were things for benefit and the beauty of living. And then
church organs in a church. Like, what are they using those?
Gargoyles with Satans outside. I went to my local cathedral like last year, done a vlog there, Richard. And I went in and found the vicar who ran the place, or the archbishop woman. And I said, can you have a look out here? I said, just took a photograph. Why have you got demons or gargoyles on your cathedral? You know, home of the Anglican Church of Wales. She said it was to frighten away evil spirits. I said, you believe in evil spirits, do you, love? I said, so you believe that an evil spirit is going to fight off an evil spirit? You've got evil spirits working for you in the church. And I messed their head up, basically. She ran away, as they all do. But you see the mentality on these people, you know, how she tried to wriggle out of that. You know, I had another conversation with another theologian in another church, and she was saying that you had to have a mediator to see God, because before any mediator actually exists, you wouldn't have been able to perceive God at all. What?
Oh my gosh.
What?
Yeah,
So you mean
I think God and Satan reside in court, in law. I don't think they're in a church. I can't find them in a church. I find them in law.
I get spooked out in them. I thought it was me. I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought, I'm bad. It's like that film, The Omen. I'm not a person.
You know what's crazy, guys, and ladies? I think these ghost cities and fondlings is really, really
crazy.
Man, I mean, you can't explain it. I mean, that's right there. We're all the people.
We think we're so clever, don't we? 2019, and they think they know it all, and we've gone to space, and we're in space rockets. It's just the complete.
But look how limited that information. All we got is the internet, and you know, if anyone doesn't know by now, apart from the trusted, outside of that, everyone's been a yarn. If it's mainstream, it's nonsense. So, what real information do we get outside of our own research, guys?
And
not much.
Karen, I'm
dude.
I'm not just because I'm spending time on mud flood and the history of Tartaria doesn't mean I'm not a flat earther anymore, and I don't.
No, man, I keeps an eye on all the flat earth scene, bro. I know everything that's going down. It's by making my business.
Yeah, I mean, you got some flat earthers that's been flat earther for a while. They're getting really seriously offended by this and haven't even spent no time even looking at it. They think that this is a distraction for flat earth. No, it's not.
Nuts.
Right. It's not a distraction. This is look, man. When I grew up, I loved history. I loved history. I loved it. I did really good at it. I was brainwashed, and I was tested, graded, did good. Come to find out that it's all a bunch of nonsense. And
the brainwashing took with you, Richard, actually, if I'm honest.
Well, yeah, well, come on, man. Fairy tale castles are real. I'm doing a video right now. Talk about fairy tale castle are real.
Where were Star Forts in school then, Richard?
Right. You know,
it's incredible. It's like they completely omitted the Star Forts.
I know. And amazing, are they? Imagine in school would have been much richer.
They presented it to us in a whole different light.
Been amazing. They're mind blowing, aren't they? Better than castles. They're pretty good.
It's really strange because these Star Forts are everywhere, aren't they?
With red granite.
Popped up recently, like, but they're ancient and there's loads of them.
Like that. Ooh, I mean, who's that though? Flat Earth?
That's dude, that is. Flat Earth dude, so he's in Cali somewhere.
Yeah, he is.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Wow, dude, where are you?
That's a mud flutter. It's Tartaria.
It's red.
It's breaking up. This is the oldest building in the county, or one of them. The actual building, and it looks like a mud flutter. They say it was built in 1900.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to find some pictures of it being built, man.
No.
Yeah.
And I can't find it.
Yeah, go to the city hall.
You'll find them.
Yeah, go to the city hall. That's what I do, and find out.
They have the archives right in here. I just
you might get blueprints.
Lots of blueprints. Lots of them.
Blueprints don't prove shit. You can draw them up anytime, dude. You need to
no pictures, man. And you know, in 1900, there was lots of cameras, man. But not one fucking.
Everyone was photographing, apparently.
And there was another building like this one across the street. This is the courthouse.
Yeah.
And the other one they called the jailhouse, and it was twice as pretty as this one. And they tore it down, man. They tore it down.
They would. The bottoms look like panels, the white bits. They look like they might be paneled on.
It's like granite, yeah.
Right.
Anyway, I just thought I'd share that.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, what do you think they made all these islands?
Some of these buildings look like they were only built yesterday.
Look like they're twice as high and going underground.
Brick. Yeah, it's been around for a long time, and we don't build buildings like that today. Look at that.
It's missing.
It's sub-level. Where is that? Anyway, where is that right now? I mean, where are we looking?
We are in Southern California in the city called Santa Ana.
Santa Ana? Wild.
I've been there. A lot of mud flood evidence in Santa Ana. Yeah, I've been there. Yep.
Yeah, you've been here. Yeah, this is this. I mean, you guys in Europe, man, you guys have this shit everywhere you go.
Everywhere, man.
Here,
I got it about 2 minutes away.
We got one building, you know. You got
to go up north.
Two, you know.
Where D Marble's at, he's up north. There's a lot. That's San Francisco, Seattle area. A lot of mud flood evidence.
That's Seattle for mud flood. I've done a vlog on that because they've done a ground reclamation where they were hiding the mud flood, and it's come out in a photographic record.
Oh wow!
Wow! It's like exactly like Kansas with 100-foot high mud walls and stuff. Seattle, yeah. Have a look at my vlogs. Amazing, mind blowing set of photography. If you look into it, worth a vlog. Mind blowing.
Wow!
One of the best.
That's Tartaria.
I need to go over that again, actually, because something else might be outstanding since I got that Kansas City footage, photographs. I'm thinking going through, because you know that same ground reclamation thing that was apparently happened in Chicago after the fire as well, which you can't work out how the Chicago we're looking at could have been built with this reclamation happening. after the fire. I'm building the Great Exposition. I'm trying to work out this window of when this would have happened. It's doing my head in. So had 2 fires. Sorry, it's just we have been spun a big yarn. I doubt the 1800s are anything like we thought they were, even on time scales. You know, it might be longer, shorter. Don't even know. Date anomalies are called the days being berserk.
You know what's crazy too, Martin? Corpus Christi and Galveston, Texas, the whole Gulf of Mexico. That's all under
Galveston's amazing.
All under Tartarian control. I also, Martin, I went over to visit my parents for the holidays, and I was talking to like my parents. They know that we live on a flat surface.
Yeah.
I was talking to them about Tartaria and and mud floods, and I was telling them about the griffins and owls, and my stepfather was like, "No shit, the next door neighbor has a griffin in the driveway." I was like, "Get out of here, a big one!" And I was like, "I got my coat on. I walked next door, and I was like, wow."
I got a village on the hill here called Griffinville, and all of the mansions on the top got griffins on them. It's crazy.
Crazy, man, crazy. So yeah, man. You know,
that is nuts. That could be it right there. See, you never know, do you?
Yeah, you never know, man. It's a lot of things you just never know. Yep.
I'm finding more and more clues by the day. It's just crazy how this stuff is out there. It's been there all along. It's just sort of piecing together. It's really weird.
Right. Wait till when more people start waking up about this, because then people are going to start those light bulbs going to start going off, and they're going to be like, yo. And so we're going to force. I was on Phil's vlog today before I got on here, and I asked him. I said, "Well, you know, are they talking about this in the news in Russia about Tartaria?"
God, yes. They get like 500,000 views on each video. Some of them.
Yeah, and he said, yeah, but they're kind of like they're talking about it, but they're going to the next case. They're making it seem like
they're keeping it like that small, and it's not expanded story. You know,
we know about it. It's nothing. There's no big deal.
No, exactly that. Yeah,
we're gonna force them to actually talk about it the right way. If more people wake up around this flat plane realm, it
just makes more sense than anything that I've ever heard in my life before. The whole way the things that are being like sort of unraveling now, it's like, hang on a minute. Although it's sinister, a lot of it, there's also a flip side, which is beautiful.
Right. So you get that feeling when you're looking at NASA photos, right, and NASA videos. What? Wait a minute. What is that? Bubbles in space?
Yeah, it got insulting to my eyes after a while, Richard. So I couldn't look at them anymore. Especially ISS, big station. Can't look at that. It's just too ridiculous.
Did you think it would? Did you think you'd be here a year ago?
Yeah, I was here a year ago.
Oh, I know that. Did you think when you picked up that book on Russian that you'd be here today talking like about what you're talking about?
Well, I mean, I've been working hard at trying to like be like, I suppose what you could call a popular YouTuber for years now. I've been like sort of, nobody was really listening, not really. Somebody started listening, and then because somebody started listening, everybody started listening, and now everybody's just watching my whole back catalogue, you know, and getting ridiculous amounts of views, and it is like everyone's minds are ripped apart by this because of everything. You know, there's a year's worth of unfolding, or two even, on the channel. It's like they haven't caught up on, and each one, you know, that we cover medicine's advancement.
Martin, let me ask you a question. We got the UK conference coming up, right?
Two. We got one in the dam.
Two, right? Are you going to be a speaker at the conference?
Oh yes, I am indeed.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And in Amsterdam, I'm going to Amsterdam too. I'm on with Patricia Steer. Same night. We're gonna have a nice time. She's going to be hostess with mostest.
Awesome. That's.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, that's going to be a good scene. I'll be biggie.
This is a good presentation to give them.
I'm going to do stand-up comedy.
Right? Because everybody in there knows we live on a flat plane realm, right? Yeah. So you don't got to spend 15, 20 minutes talking about that. Nowadays, look, check it out. Flat Earth turns out, that's just the surface. It turns out that there's more to discover. That's what I tell people. Like, it's connected. It's all lies. It's a bunch of lies. And And this is proof because it's overwhelming proof.
I know
don't
what
think-
this place is anyway. I think I've proved it. Like to my soul, I think it's definitely a double torus dielectric inertia plane. I can't think why they would encode it deliberately through the entire of their antiquity, and I mean everything. If it wasn't so.
Amazing. Well, look, I love to stay on long. I thank you for letting me talk first. Unfortunately, I got to get ready to go to my slave job.
Right.
And I'll be back available on Sunday. But good luck, guys.
Good luck to you out there.
Karen, I put your link in the description for the Tartarian mud brick because Karen, thank you. I appreciate what you do and what you're doing about the mud flood. You know, staying level and also thinking outside the box and engaging in this conversation and supporting Martin from Flat Earth British. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the love and support. And I got to go, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, Richard.
Richard,
God
thank you
bless
so
you.
much for joining us.
Excuse me, say that again?
Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Nice to
Thank
meet you.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great to meet
One of
you.
these days I gotta come up.
Don't be late to work.
Yes, and if you guys ever come,
Catch up tomorrow.
yes, if you ever come to New York or out here, let me know. I'll pick you up from there.
I only think about it all the time.
Let me know, Martin. I'll pick you up from the airport and you can stay at my house, buddy.
Oh, I would, Rich. I'd love
I
it.
got no hotel, no nothing. You can stay on the 3rd floor. It's all yours.
Nice.
All right?
I'm on my way.
That's
Peace and love, Richard, brother. Take
All right,
care.
have a good day, man.
Oh, I didn't know he was going to go so quickly.
You gotta get
Well-
work and save lives, man. This guy's a ledge.
Gotta make some
Yeah.
ducats.
Go on. Clear. Clear. Stat.
Clear. Stat.
They just say that. They don't add nothing to it. You're supposed to know what it means, but it don't mean shit. Stat. Stat what? He's got a staple in his toe.
Yeah.
Get him, rush him into surgery. Remove his leg.
Every time I watch you, I just get like, there's just so much stuff in there. I get mind blown every time. I mean, going back, like them doing the whole of the nervous system in the 1700s.
More on that.
Yeah,
What?
Yeah,
that's
man.
mind-blowing,
The tree
isn't it?
is identical to the alveoli of the human lung. And not only that, the tree, its roots, and its upper bit are exactly the same as the human central nervous system. It's really nuts. Even the capillaries that feed the tree are the same place as the capillaries that feed the cerebral fluids of the central nervous system. This stuff's crazy. How we can be so like trees.
Trees.
I
Sorry,
used
did you
to-
say trees?
Trees.
I used to wonder how people knew what to eat over the years, like as we evolved. 'cause I used to
Dunno.
believe in evolution.
How
Watch
do you
what
know
the
what one
birds
plant
eat.
goes with another to make another?
Whatever the birds eat that.
Well, now I'm starting to wonder whether the information didn't come complete and we knew what to eat, because otherwise we'd just be poisoning ourselves. I don't know.
True.
Right.
What about ayahuasca? Because there's two plants mixed together, and one's over there and one's over there, and they don't work separately. So how would they have known two separately?
Yeah, and who
In
would
jungle.
think to look at wheat and go, I'm going to crush that up, add water,
Yeah, and put heat, and magic happens.
and it's going to turn into a loaf of bread.
How is
will
that
be-
even possible? That's magic in itself, isn't it?
Yeah,
It turns
how-
into bread from wheat.
Yeah, like how much
that's
stuff are
alchemy.
they crushing up? And
Alchemy.
it's just insane to think that they stumbled across that accidentally.
Isn't it weird? There must have been knowledge hands on. Look, do you know that stuff you got in the field over there? It is called a field, by the way. If you grind it up and put it in the oven.
Or for lack of better wordings, like if you put enough information into a computer, it would be able to spit.
Wonder if that's why it's called a field, because it's a field. And another thing, in the army, when you get like somebody comes along and says, "Who's in charge here?" Do they mean charge?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's in charge here? Who's got the charge?
And currency, money is a currency.
Exactly.
And
Current. Yeah.
That electricity was a currency. No,
Yeah, I knew a guy. He got electrocuted in the Bakers on a shop. Yeah, he stepped on a current bun. Yeah, a current shot right up his leg and killed him. Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't go in the bakery. Dangerous places.
So basically, nearly every day you get your mind's blown. Nearly every day, then, because you keep finding out more. It doesn't stop at the moment. Martin,
Yeah.
sorry.
Me?
Yeah, is it that every day there's just something new every day?
Every day.
Yeah, it's mind blowing.
Something
Today's
new,
been
man.
more mind blowing again. Yeah, I got another vlogage I'm going to put out tomorrow. Now it's going to be more further along again, and it's hard evidence to support everything that we propose. It's getting more than like our evidence is mostly circumstantial, but we're falling like into hard evidence now in the last few weeks. It's just moving quick.
Nice.
Yeah, and I got more, and it's overwhelming. And when you put the pieces together, it's like, oh, flipping out. And it's going to make the mud flood, put it into a more, an understandable sense, really, because, you know, people are saying, where could it have come from? Is it from volcanoes? Is it from underground? Is it Fabergé's technologies that are creating seismic earthquakes that are causing liquefaction and all these different ideas, but nobody actually knows. But, you know, it's more in line with what you just said, Trouble, about, about not being the creators doing, but more a natural cycle. I feel it's more in line with that. And mud flow is certainly a part of it. And this crazy article I found talks all about it. And it says that it happened everywhere. They talk about the globe, but they say a globe-wide deposit of mud.
Do you think that every house that's got a basement in it was in the mud flood? Because I work in one.
No, I feel that some of the buildings you see that they say they built in the 1900s and stuff, you can get maybe a photographic record of them being built, and they've got lower windows. So they've put a certain amount in, which ended up as underground car parks, etc., to sort of cover up why all them other buildings have got anomalous windows down below street level and make no sense in an architectural sense. So what they've done is basically they've muddied the waters. We didn't work it out with the architecture, is what I feel. Definitely. Got to be careful though, you know. Anything previous to 1900, you're never going to find it. You're never going to find it being built. That one of the Washington Dome being built and the central bit, the photographs that exist, the most popular out there. And isn't it funny that you can't find that same record for any other building except the Capitol building? Isn't that, you know, really strange? And when you like study them, they're photoshopped to hell. There's a fake American flag. There's stuff that's not there. There's people added no shadows in certain places. So why would you Photoshop it? So I think they're probably photoshopped. A lot of the images we're seeing of our historical narrative, I think that are made up really like stuff to do with flight. The Wright brothers, I think flight was a damn sight earlier, and it was more advanced. It was a steampunk type of flight, which was quick, good for war. They used to use incendiary drops taking out cities. This is what's done these American city fires, I feel, was incendiary drops and some strange weapons that make booming sounds like 1,000 artillery. So I take it that's some sort of Fabergé's technologies. Happens in every event. I'm talking all of them. Look, I looked into at least half a dozen events in the last 2 days, including San Francisco, same MO, Port Royal in Kingston, Jamaica, same MO. That place got hit twice. And after the first, they lost the entire peninsula under a mud flow, right, which solidified, went off, and they say that they built all of this anomalous architecture on top of the spit again to be wiped out again at the later date. Does that actually make any sense? No, man, it's just nuts. I've got the maps to show us.
And also, didn't they sort of crush up some pyramids and then build on top of them as well?
Very possibly. And I tell you, a good place you can find evidence for that, Karen, is around New York City, believe it or not. If you look along Long Island on Google Earth, there's all sea defenses, and they're all like big grey granite blocks. And when you mag in on them, they're all buildings, parts of buildings. And a lot of these structures around Lake Erie, and the Erie Canal, which was there before. But these stones, you can see there's scutch marks. They were part of like what looked like could have been pyramids and older buildings, and all over New York. The Jackie Kennedy Reservoir they've got like the wall looks like it's part of in Peru. Looks like it's part of Pumapunku or Sacsayhuamán, one of these sites, and you can see all the markings where it used to be something else. You know, cut out. It's just crazy stuff. And everyone walks past it, drives past it, and thinks nothing of it unless you know what to look for. Pretty weird. But this stuff's out there, yeah. The older civilization has been used. Again, the stone is out there. Definitely.
It's like the Statue of Liberty. That's on a starport. And then
Yeah.
you think that the stand that the statue's on is more beautiful than the statue itself. It's like,
Yes,
how
it
do you
is.
not notice the star thing and the big fort it's standing on?
Have you seen UAP's video, Trouble, about on Statue of Liberty, what he thinks?
It might have been his that I saw.
I've got a photographic record of my own of Statue of Liberty, and no two faces match. I think he's onto something. I think there was an older one there, and I think they could have replaced it with their weird version. And the first one was supposed to have had an electric lantern.
I watch a lady that follows Mandela, and
Yeah, I know a couple of them.
the statues changing all the time.
All right, then. It used to be in New York Harbor. Now it's in New Jersey Harbor. They say that's a Mandela effect. The moving of
The hairstyle of her, like everything, it changes from month to month.
I know a
What do
few.
you think the star forts are then to the pyramids? And do you think they're older than the pyramids? Do you think they're younger? Do you think? I mean, they're so different to pyramids, aren't they? But they're amazing, those things.
No, they're not that different. The pyramids of like Mexico, they're stepped pyramids, aren't they? So they're nesting, so they're energy devices. Okay. And it's the same thing with some of the star forts as well. You can see that they're inlaid and inlaid and inlaid, although on a fractal geometry, but they're still nested. So these can create energy as well. So with the water around them and their fractal shape, they are amazing technology. Because they're that big. You know, if you mag this thing down to something small, this thing is like.
They're still working then, Martin?
Sorry?
Do you think they're still working?
No, a lot of them are just in the landscape, fields and gone, and playing fields, and you can find them on Google Earth all over the place. There's more than you can possibly imagine. I feel that they never really, even the people who came in, I got evidence I posted about groundbreaking. I said it was, or it was a leap forward. It was a book to a Polish royal that stated that, we should utilize these star forts and make better use of them, and we don't really know what they are. Somebody's left them behind, but these would be really good for military purposes. We should move in them. So they found them. The survivor times, they find them, they tried to reverse engineer them. These melee weapons and these cannons of the 1700s was not what star forts do. You go back, these things were like something like out of Iron Man movies. These things were, want for a better word, space age. They were high technology, but further back, not 1700s. No, they weren't using them, I don't think, to that scale then. But the Noah times, yeah, then.
Do you think anyone lived in these buildings, or they're all machines?
Machines. I think they went higher as well. I think there was buildings. I got more proof and all. I could show you right now that they go higher and higher. In fact, skyscrapers on top, in the middle. And they got like blowholes outside, so they must have emitted some sort of frequency sound, like the modern day sonic weapons that they've got, off the back of a Humvee, on a big scale, like this actual Tower of Babylon actually looks like as well. So yeah, they would be massive defensive. Nothing would be able to be close, and they would wipe out anything coming near, and they would be deep underground behind very deep star forts. Nothing would be able to harm the elites.
What would they be protecting? Just themselves?
This is the question, isn't it? Giants. I don't even know. Look, the elites live out in these big mansions, you call them, these English stately homes, and they got tunnel systems run right into some of these French star forts I know of, and the Swiss ones, so they can go straight from their mansion underground, get to they need a star fort. Oh, and the Vatican. There's a tunnel system run straight from the Vatican which is a star fort, into the Michelangelo star fort on the other side, all connected by tunnel systems for protection from something. No, it's not medieval knights with spears, okay, on swords, not them type of swords anyway. Something else is going on. So yeah, and I think they bug out, pour outside mostly the star forts, in one of these three sets, 1700s at least. And the elites are inside. They got Technasmir active because the churches are everywhere and they're still active. You can see that in some of my studies, lead atlases. 1733, they're still active in Venice, for example. And people are doing really well, healthy, beautiful lifestyle. But it's been inundated before. But they got it back up and running. Power centers have. Paris is okay. Paris has a monumental staff up, but London doesn't need one. Why doesn't London need a monumental staff? Or why is it so special? Why is nothing wiping it out? So they got something else. They got a different power. Britain. I think it's the power, the scepter, this sceptered isle that we're on. Scepter and Europe together. I believe the real power of them is like God killer type technology that could do monumental damage, is what I believe. And I believe they're all in plain sight. We're not to know. They just think there's just ceremonial war. What are they harping back to exactly? Technology.
Is that something to do with why, like, the time zone starts like 0 is Greenwich Mean Time? There's something with the time, isn't there?
Greenwich Mean Time is exactly part of it, but there was further ones, and they all correspond with comets as well. Comets going over at the same time, series of events, and then they'll have a calendar shift all at the same time. So muddling it all up so much that when you go researching it, you can't even pinpoint a date. Give an example: Welsh British tsunami, biggest in British history. It's dated as 1609, but plaques say 1607 because it went from the Juliana to the Gregorian. And it didn't come into full fruition in the rest of Europe for later couple of hundred years, up until the last century in some places. So it was like later. So the dates in different places were different. So none of them correspond, but nobody seems to know that. But the royals are still on Juliana, as are the Freemasons, by the way. That's why the Queen has 2 birthdays. One of them's a couple of years before Juliana, and the official Gregorian is what she, official, what we all got to go by. It's token gesture. But yeah, common era then, 1744, comet as well, great comet. They switch it over to the common era, and there's also a calendar shift then. So there's been at least 3, and the Greenwich Mean Time, and then the later 1800s railway shifts, because if you left Paddington and got to Swindon, your clock were not telling us the same time. So they had to make all the cities of the world at the same time. So they did it everywhere. So Britain's like the most important place on earth, apparently, because everyone had to set their times for the British Railway, including America, Australia, and everywhere else, in China as well. Weird. So, yeah, we ought to reset time thing then as well.
Do you think our empire thing was something completely different then? Because we were supposed to be in an empire with all these other countries.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just in this, like, I can see it all in allegory, how the story sort of unraveled. I think, like, the Genesis is excellent, allegorical for it. The time of Nebuchadnezzar and the Tower of Babel, and everyone just ravages the plain with industry and selfishness and turns it into a toxic cesspit. And the rest of the story, What
about Napoleon then? Because he's not quite like we've been told either, is it?
Photographs would have existed when he was around. They really would have. Look, the Eastman has been holding back on photography, right? This is known. I don't know why on earth.
Was it you?
Photographs of Wellington. Well, look, we got photographs of the Duke of Wellington, who was at Waterloo. I feel that with his wealth, all them years out in Elba after they're all in exile, that they could at least took a snap and no, he'll sit for a couple of weeks and have a painting done. So Napoleon to me is anomalous. He's a Freemasonic Mason. He's the Prince of Corsica, so he's a royalty. He's blue blood. And his story, I've got 3 books on him. I've read everything about the Prince of Corsica there is to know, and no three books are completely different narratives. I shit you not. I don't even know which one's real.
You found a picture of him when he was older, and you showed it to us.
Yeah. I believe that he might have gone. No, there was Napoleon. Who replaced him was Napoleon II, who was his nephew. Yeah, because he didn't have a baby with Josephine.
I wonder if Napoleon is a machine. and then they just create a character to run
What, 5 foot? Do you know what somebody said to me? There was this bogus, like, Martin's the Show website put out there, right? And he says, oh, this funny little man. I thought, are you that thick? Do you think I'm actually the size of the little box on your screen? I'm nearly 6 foot, you knob. He says, I'm not as big as the screen. I am on the screen. Silly person. But yeah.
I just wonder if, like, half these people in history aren't real.
No, of course not. No, I don't believe it. I don't believe half of them are. No, I don't believe the Plantagenets. I doubt in the Tudors. You know, the Tudors house, Hampton Court, Henry Tudor's house, 500-year-old, as in red brick. London red brick. Well, what's going on there then? You know, the Mary Rose, his flagship, is at the bottom of the Solent. It's the biggest find in architectural history. It's the biggest deal ever. But his house is over there in London red brick. No problem. Everyone can know this.
Then, Martin, what's all that about then?
Well, it's to infuse all of their...
Anybody that's not in the UK, England at a certain time had this thing called the Doomsday Book, and all the houses went...
Yeah, it's just a census, isn't it? Of bullshit as well. It's a census of all of the lands, the tracts, who owns what, how many cattle per head they got, which squire has which sheriffs, and how the feudal system was run at the time of the Doomsday Book. But, you know, we haven't been here long. I don't believe the Magna Carta or any of these things were actually ever there. You know, we're not there. We can't go back 300 years to find out if they're talking about the Magna Carta as a reality, don't we? Or Joan of Arc, or any of these things. They make no sense.
Yeah, I reckon it was all written after.
So do I, love. Joan of Arc's definitely a fairy tale.
Yeah. And half the fairy tales probably have more truth in them. I think they were probably
Wives' tales are real.
Yeah, I think there's something in all of them, you know.
Yeah, well, because I'm finding elves and sprites are real. Like, they're not fairy tale creatures.
Well, I'm supposed to be an elfling. I got told by another elfling creature. Have you seen my ears, have you?
Yeah. But they're lightning that goes above the ground. You know, like an elf is an ELF, electrical lightning light frequency or something.
Yeah, I've heard that.
They exist, all this stuff, just not the way that they told us. And same with history. Like, it sort of exists, but not the way that we're being told. Like, Napoleon might have been there, but he probably wasn't a man. He was probably a machine, like a weapon or something. So, yeah, it's like they flipped everything, which isn't surprising.
Weird to have all this history one there before, though, isn't it? It's like just all of this, just like, where has it all been all our lives? Same as the flat Earth. Like, where was all this information all our lives? It's just crazy to think. You know, we've missed out all of that.
It was there in documents.
It was. We didn't, you know.
Basically, since the 90s, there hasn't been anything. So people today think, oh, this is new, but it wasn't.
Now look at Marlene. She's always been a flat earther because she's a Native American.
Yeah, a Native American called Marlene. She's, I don't know what she's doing. Yeah.
Folk singer.
No, she's been a pilot. She lives in Canada. She's a Native American from there, you know, Native Indian.
Oh, that lady, I know her. She goes on, yeah, I know her, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so she's known her whole life. She, like, had to learn the flat earth, the round earth. The other
Some people I know are like that, yeah.
And, yeah, I was, like, fair amazed. I didn't. So then you realise there's whole countries and cultures that didn't go flat. They're still flat.
Yeah, funky words, you know. Nick, his missus is from Thailand, like, and yeah, he said, like, you know, it's flat, like, yeah, you know, took it for granted because she haven't been like that Western indoctrination, sort of globe in the classroom stuff in her background, like rural Thailand, like, so outside of it. So it's not everyone is tied into it. People can, you know, naturally see around them, see what it is. Karen, I'm gonna have to get going. I've had a mad day. And you just caught me on a fly, you did, and I got to eat something.
Oh, well, it's been a real pleasure.
It's never ending. Good old talk tonight. Thoroughly enjoyed that. But I got to eat, and I'm dying of hunger. And when my stomach's just making noises at me, moaning, saying, "Put something in me."
That's a good. It's a never-ending story, isn't it, Martin? This.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Yeah, when you just keep, you know, you write it and then the story just comes true. That's happened with loads of things that I've discovered, I've just suspected, and I like sort of gone to see if there's any reality in it, and bam, 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 shit, this stuff's real. That's what happened with Technasmia. I only suspected that the abundance of churches might be doing something more with like gathering static electric, and the more I dug, and then boom, the evidence was there. It's like, wow, yeah, my suspicions was right.
I knew we were more advanced in the past. I've been
saying
it for ages.
I was suspected it.
I couldn't see where until you came along with this info, and it's like, oh
no, I
God.
couldn't see where until Technasmia dropped, penny dropped, and then the way that they think is outside of our frame of reference. This alchemical thinking, which is like what magic is technology. It's just we can, so they are that advanced.
When you're looking at those pictures of even like the turn of the century, so maybe the 1800s, and there's skyscrapers there, and not as high as today, maybe, but they still had floors and floors and floors in the buildings. I
gotta go. My son's having a hissy fit in there.
Okay, Martin. See, we could go on forever. Thank you very much for joining us, Martin.
All right, peace and love, people. Nice to meet you.
Love.
Ciao.
See ya.
God bless.
Hey.
God,
I could have gone on for another couple of hours. Yeah, it's all a bit mind-boggling, isn't it? Because everything is such a lie.
Yeah. Well, it's a twist on the truth, at the very least.
Yeah, history's not what they've said anyway, for sure. Well, our guests have gone now.
No, not rude. No.
Yeah, well, not every hangout is 3 hours long. Sometimes they are. Do you want to talk for a bit more, Trouble, or shall we just like finish today? Because our guests have gone. I don't know if Flat Earth Dude's there. Flat Earth Dude. Flat Earth Dude. He's busy. Is there anything you want to talk about as you're here? Because you said that you've got you're into stars, you're into mud floods, fossils.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm doing a mud flood one on video on Brisbane at the moment. So I went in and photographed heaps of buildings. They just don't look right. Get close up to them, large photos, and some of the panels, the brick doesn't even look like it's brick. It's like there's a few bricks missing, but instead of it being a brick-sized hole, it's only about like an inch deep. So, and then there's like concrete behind it. So now I'm even starting to wonder if half these buildings are even made of stone, or if they're just plasterboard, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, that's not good then, is it?
Well, yeah, I can't work out what's going on. Like, we've got these churches, and they'll have those round rings in them, like a decorative design. I don't know what to call them, and like the architecture, it's just all wrong. And then someone's come along and they've built this like flap coming out, this just piece of building that's no more than a wing. It's got no rooms in it or anything. It's not, but then it covers part of the building, and where the architects made these beautiful round rings and things, they're like cut in half or cut in 3/4, and you just look and think that's just such poor design work. You wouldn't do that. So these buildings, they all look like they've been altered somewhere.
I think I know what you mean. We have one not that far from here. It's called Bowen House. And on the plaque, it'll say that this was a big house, but what's left is only the wing of it. The rest of the house has gone, but the wing has stayed, and it's huge. What it is look, they made it into sort of like a tree house place, and there's big slides there. So it's more you go there to go outside and walk around the grounds. But I remember Bowen House, I remember reading it on there. This is only a wing of the original house.
And there's all these tall, skinny buildings in between, like the churches and things, but they're missing windows. There's a whole floor that doesn't have windows, and then another floor that's just got one window over here and one over there, and it's, I don't know, there's just something wrong with them. And then windows half in the ground and half out of the ground, and
didn't they, supposedly at one time here, they did block up some of the windows, didn't they? Supposedly, that's what they told us.
Well, see, that doesn't even make sense. What kind of building do you want everybody not to be able to see sunlight? Like, what were they doing in there?
I just find it incredible, all these sort of like, even if you look at cities around like in the Victorian time, and I know that maybe the glass, they've all got glass windows, and half the buildings look like they could have been built recently, but they're not. They're built hundreds of years ago.
And China not having glass, that fascinated me. Like apparently China closes itself off to the rest of the world for a few 100 years or 1,000 years or something. And so they never got glass, which is why they have lanterns. They didn't have glass in their windows, and their medicine got a little bit behind because they didn't have glass vials.
That sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? Because you think of China a bit differently, as sort of advanced in sort of medicine and things.
Well, they had all those explosives, so what were they keeping? I mean, they didn't have. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense now that I think about it. Some of the stuff I learned, I just. Yeah, like you go to repeat something, you just think, that just doesn't sound right now. Like decades ago, I would have repeated that without a worry, but now it comes out my mouth, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, we're only who we are with what we know, and we've all been taught everything wrong.
Yeah.
It's all wrong.
Like half the stories don't even make sense. I don't even think Genghis Khan, and like it's just half the story. They're so far-fetched, taking a pile of elephants across the snowy mountains. I mean, really?
I don't think you can trust the past anymore. I mean, even if you just look at what Richard Lopez and Martin are doing, it's obvious there's something very wrong again.
Yeah. And those piles of dead bodies, I mean, we still have a few options. It doesn't have to be cannibalism.
It is a bit strange that there's no clothes. I don't think the heads are there, are they? Is the heads there? Heads are one, but there's just like the long bone of the legs and the long bone of the arms. There's no fingers, no bodies.
All the bones are there. Like that's the outside pile. That's what they made the wall out of, I think, to hold it up. But when you look behind it, there's just piles of unsorted bones. So they just use the skulls and the leg bones and other little bones.
And also, aren't they packed? They basically go up to the road, under the like the manholes on the roads. If you lift them up in Paris, you can find bones up to the top. I mean, how does that happen?
And not only that, what got me were the buildings outside, like they were barns. That's what they kind of.
Hey,
looked like.
Sorry about that.
Dude.
I was at the telescope shop. Did you see me?
We did, but
okay.
Our guest is gone now. It's just
I
us.
know. I was talking to the telescope guy. I got a special piece of equipment so I can live stream the moon.
Oh wow!
Now, maybe on our next one of our hangouts or something, I can be able to do it. I don't know. I'm really getting it for the eclipse. We got an eclipse coming up on the 20th.
How come you guys get all the eclipses? You don't get any.
I'm gonna live stream the eclipse, lunar eclipse. So
I think
we'll see.
As far as the UK, we should be able to see some of that eclipse.
You should be able to see it too if it's clear out. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, if it's not cloudy.
But anyway, thanks for everything, Karen.
Oh,
trouble about. How you doing? You good?
Hey, not too bad, thanks.
I'm good.
Dude.
What's that?
Thanks for showing us that building.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm like right up the road. I want to go to the telescope shop. It's like right next to it. It's the oldest building around here that's of the mud flood kind, that I can.
Did you Did you see it going below ground? Because some of the windows were sort of.
I went inside and actually went all the way down to the bottom.
Oh.
How many floors underneath is there?
Just one. It's a big one though. It's like 10, 12 feet down at least. Maybe 20. I don't know. It's pretty big.
And I find this really difficult. Like, who built Buckingham Palace? I mean, that's a monster of a thing. And
oh yeah, but you guys, man, in Europe, you guys are just covered in these buildings.
I mean, when you look at some of these buildings, I was going to make a little video, but I don't think I could ever match up to Martin Leakey or Richard Lopez. So there's no point really. But like when they've got week times, these buildings were huge. The ceilings were really high.
Huge.
And they had all these paintings.
Paintings and furniture and the fireplaces are, as big as my house. They're like, what the hell? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, you don't have to do the work. I mean, right now.
I can give you what my mum and dad had this house. It's called St Jacob's Hall, and originally it was like one big barn. And the history goes that they all lived in there in the barn. It was all open.
Right.
To start with, and they had a fire at one end, and then over time, this house has been put the floors have gone in. And in fact, my mum and dad's house, they've made it in the attic where the servants used to be. So the servants were in the third floor, ground floor bedrooms, and then the third floor. But there is a part of my mum and dad's house where the outside is inside now, where they carried on building. They didn't knock that down or knock a wall down. They just built something like extra on the outside, so you can see inside. Like you can see outside, inside, if you know what I mean. But their house was probably 16 something. St Jacob's his name. He was St Jacob's, lived there. But again, the floors turned up later. They were big barns. But again, now you don't know if any of it's true, do we?
So that's 400-year-old house.
Yeah.
400-year-old house. Damn.
Yeah.
And I lived in a house which was built in the 1700s as well. The house I lived in Hungerford. And my house was there first because it had double walls. So to have a double wall, it was single originally, and it's not now. It's in a street with a row of houses. And up in the attic were these great big shit beams. I mean, how did they do all this?
I don't know. I don't know.
If you went up there, you could see all the shit beams, and they had numbers on them and everything. So how did they get those great big beams up there?
I don't know. Clever.
It's all just crazy, isn't it?
It really is, and but it's fun. It's fun that we're looking into this stuff. Martin, Richard, those guys are crushing it. They're doing great. Yeah. You're doing great. Everybody's doing a great job right now. All kinds of crazy flat earth and mud floods and transgender stuff going on. What is going on around here?
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's fun.
I wrote to you.
I saw the email. I've been driving around all day, so haven't had a chance to reply yet.
That's okay. Well, I mean, we'll probably stay on for just a little bit longer, but you can tell me afterwards because I'll make a trailer. Sun and Moon are going to stream when Flat Earth Dude is out in a function in California.
Yeah, it's just Flat Earth meetup, pizza party. We'll be inside of a restaurant.
Oh, you're going to make us hungry.
You're going to make you guys hungry. I don't know, or thirsty. I don't know, one or the other.
Yeah, who's coming so far?
I got to look. We got Hori, Caroline, Sasha, probably myself,
Aaron.
Obviously. Aaron, probably. I don't know. It looks like he's coming. I haven't talked to him, but he made a special meetup page about it, I think. Don't know who else. Maybe Sydney and Nathan, maybe.
Well, we can talk about that when we're up there for a bit. We'll do that when we're up there.
It might be a small group, but it'll be a powerful group. Oh my! Yeah. It's fun. I mean, I can't believe Hori's coming here after watching him for I don't know over a year probably. To have him out here and just to meet him, hang out, that'd be fun. Yeah. He drinks beer like I do. Well, he actually drinks beer more than I do, which is that's saying something because I've seen him tie a few on, man. They're on his live streams. like, dude, man, you need to stop while you're ahead. He was pretty damn drunk, man. And then that whole thing went down when he was hammered, and it was that was really ugly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so you're looking forward to that then, meeting new people or meeting old people but new people.
yeah. I think we've done amazing job to at this point, man. I think Flat Earth's pretty much gonna keep rolling, man. It would, some big giant channels have been talking about it lately. You know,
What, not Flat Earth channels, you mean?
Well, yeah, not Flat Earth channels have been talking about it. Where am I? I'm lost.
But we all know it's going to spread because it's the truth. Well, you know.
Yeah, we know we can't verify a lot of things, and oh boy, I think I'm lost.
Oh, you're driving around lost?
I need some.
I'm just amazed that the lying just doesn't stop. And why if this was natural, which it probably wasn't, because Trouble About doesn't think it is, but if it was, why couldn't they have just told us? Why have to cover it all up? Why not be proud to dig down and find out who we are? Why 53 million to pretend we're going into space and none of that's happening?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I think, you know, it's just that old story of once you start a lie, it then snowballs and becomes this massive thing that you just can't control at the end. It could just be that simple, but one shithead lied and it's just gone from there.
Yes, well, it's definitely one big fat lie, isn't it? It's quite, it's very disturbing, to be honest.
Well, we're gonna figure it out. It can be disturbing. I'm kind of over the disturbed part. I'm more like, yeah, okay, we got this. No problem. We got this at this point.
Now I'm just more curious.
And
I never thought when I started Flat Earth that we'd be looking at mud floods and that our history would be so different. I mean, I thought when I watched those videos, I thought, oh, I've got it now. It was just the beginning of this whole thing, and do appreciate people like Martin, or even you, Flat Earth dude. You do quite a lot for Flat Earth. You record things. You're out with the moon. You're with your telescope. You do flat smacking. You're a cameraman. You speak to physicists. Trouble About's always taking pictures of stars, the moon. She likes mud fossils. She's out. Well, she's out.
I'm at the stage where, like,
and that's why I'm so confident we're gonna just keep rocking this here. We're probably not gonna win the war, but we're gonna win a few battles and make some people look really, really stupid, and because they're lying to us, and we'll keep catching them in lies one after another. And
I mean, I don't even believe in atoms, protons and neutrons and photons.
Me either.
Electrons anymore. It's like, oh my god, like I got so left. I thought I was already left the field to everybody else, but now I'm like, way over there.
The thing is, if you're researching today, even if we don't know it all, a lot of people just don't care or don't look or don't know. So you're like miles ahead away. You don't know everything because, you know, it's just that they're looking to the television.
People not caring, that's what gets me. Like, how can you not care? That makes no sense. I mean, apart from curiosity, I'm just so curious. How can it not, like, oh, the shape of the earth doesn't matter? Are you kidding? I mean, no, it doesn't matter what the earth turns out to be, but if you spend your life with experts telling you it's one thing and then they don't actually have the proof to back it up, it's just a theory, yeah, there's something really wrong with that, because we base our whole world on science, and it's one thing to say we think it's something, but to say, no, this is a fact beyond any reasonable doubt and don't even look into it, and then when you do look into it, you find out it's not a fact. I mean, that's huge. How can that not be?
How can that not be talked about?
Yeah, and how can people not want to know about it? You know, I mean, because I come from medicine, so to find out that medicine doesn't heal you, I'm flabbergasted, and that nobody wants to talk about it because there hasn't been. You know, you can bring up the tobacco company as an example. You know, we all know that they're producing poison and they fudged all the medical stuff to get away with it for years. Well, that's what medicine's doing. It's the same thing.
That's a whole nother can of worms, man, to open up there.
And you might think the shape of the earth isn't important and whether NASA's wasting money and all that. Well, you don't think medicine's important because that's science. Medicine's now gone into the science field.
Yep.
Yeah, I tried to tell someone at a place I worked. I'd been putting it off, but I just thought maybe he'd be interested. Maybe I could just send him an email. And then when I tried to tell him, he said, yeah, I kind of understand all that. Yeah, maybe. But what does it mean to me? It's not changing my everyday life. So it doesn't matter, he said. It doesn't do anything for me. It's not going to change anything for me. And I was thinking,
Yeah, it changes heaps. I mean, there's no aliens. I am so relieved that there are not these weird alien things that are going to come down and invade us.
We're terrified for years.
Come on, Trouble. The aliens want to come down and stick things in your butt.
I know. The guy was having hyperventilating at the thought of being taken by an alien and having them experiment on him. It was like,
oh shit!
What's going? Like,
you think that? That's that's the abduction thing. Yeah, that's just really wild.
Yeah, or let alone all the cows being mutilated, or it's like, what are these aliens up to? And the crop circles.
Crop circles, those are kind of interesting, man. But pretty
sure.
Yeah,
and the really strange thing is, a lot of those crop circles look sort of like star forts. The symmetry thing that's going on.
Good point.
Yeah, I think if you used, like, instead of a torchlight, you had a laser and you put a pattern in behind it and then shone the torch through it, then I think you could probably make those crop circles. Technology quite easily. And nobody would touch the ground.
Oh dear, I had a theory once about them. I thought that maybe, when we were into the alien, or we were told aliens, I was thinking, maybe what it was is that because they're in a different time zone sort of thing, and they slowed it. Maybe they 1 minute you'd look at the field and it wasn't there, and then it was because they're in a different time thing to us. And now I just think,
So now I wonder, is it scientists sending messages to each other, like so to the other side of the world? You go to another country and you give them a piece. Look, here's a bit of the electron, or the computer chip that you need to make, and so we've sent it to you. It'll be in the field out west. Or is it a group of people who have got good technology using it for good things, and they're just trying to send us signs letting us know that there is some good out there? Can't come forward yet.
The word extraterrestrial is really, it's extra people. There might be some extra people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, there's pyramids everywhere, aren't they? And even if some of the buildings look a bit different, say if you were in America to China and all that, they're still all sort of doing the same things, because Richard Lopez showed us one doing frequencies. So the spirals, they've all got these things on them. So the people were in the same place at the same time, almost, just slightly different cultures making slightly different buildings. They're still making the same kind of buildings.
The Great Pyramid, there's 3 of them. One of them you can look through the front door, but there's no front door at the bottom. It's halfway up the pyramid. And somebody suggested that when you look through there, you can see an old Gothic church, and it looks like the pyramid's been built over the top of it. I'm like, so like that nesting thing. So maybe the pyramids are just like a cover. That's why they just
Well, when Martin was looking at pictures of actually old towns, and his etching drawing ones, there's always a pyramid there.
Maybe they've been decommissioned, and you decommission them by putting a pyramid over them. That way you can still got the technology there, but it's not working. I don't know.
Yeah, none of these things were metal or anything, were they? They were stone of some kind.
Well, it's hard to tell how much turned to stone that used to be metal or wood.
Well, I wondered if they've petrified. Were they crystal or something?
Yeah, see, I can picture a crystal world because crystals grow, they hold information.
Yeah. These are the things that we want to find out more about. But then I suppose when you wake up, your whole life is different. Nothing's normal anymore. It's totally different when you've woken up. You want to know these things.
Yeah, exactly. You become hungry and you want to look and you want to see what's going on. Fortunately, we're very fortunate, man. We got some really great, smart people like all of us and that are just willing to put in the time and we'll figure it out. I have no doubt. And I'm not stressed about it at all anymore. Some days it's a little tiring, but you know,
it is a little bit frustrating, but if you imagine what's come out really in the last 3 years, you know, people are doing proper experiments, proper measurements, proper, even if we haven't got it all, we don't quite know how far the sun is or the moon or what they are, but flat earthers are doing a lot more real research.
Yep. It's going to be really, really good here. Oh, I'm going to go get a taco. You guys like tacos?
Oh, that's not fair. Oh, we've lost Trouble.
Oh, no.
There, she was there. Thanks very much, Flat Earth Dude. I'm hungry now.
Oh, thanks. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I'd like a taco, please. Can you how did you get it to me? Oh, you just put my umbrella up, don't I? And I'll be there in 10 to 15 minutes because we're spinning, aren't we?
Print it out.
I could get there in 10 minutes. Not, by the way, I'm not spinning.
That would be nice. All right,
yeah,
I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go
eat.
Well,
can we say goodbye? We'll say goodbye on air right now, and we'll just say goodbye to each other off.
We're still on air.
I just want to ask you something. Everybody in the chat room, thank you so much for listening into this hangout. I could have listened to Martin and Richard talk for yonks, but yeah, we've had a great chat today. Thank you so much for being here. We're back on Monday with Josh. Is it Josh Stone? Josh, got to look at my book down now. We're back on Monday with Josh Stone. So
nice.
we'll see you on Monday.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
Have a good weekend.
And
it's just to make you feel better. It's supposed to rain here for 5 days in a row. Just to make you feel better.
I bet you like that though, don't you? If you don't get rain, you like a bit of rain. Anyway, Trouble.
Yeah.
Trouble, we're going to finish the hangout now. We've been going for nearly a couple of hours. Again, thank you so much, everybody in the chat room. It's been great.
Yes, thank you. All right.
And Flat Earth Dude, Trisha.
Good night, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Richard. Trouble.
Hey.